Jan Magnussen. The Danish kid they swore was gonna be the next Ayrton Senna. Back in the 90s, this dude was a straight-up beast. Picture this. He's tearing through karting, leaving everyone in the dust, then jumps to British Formula 3 in 1994 and obliterates it. 14 wins in 18 races, a record that had jaws on the floor. McLaren signed him to their young driver program, hyping him as their future champ. In 1995, Magnussen got his first taste of F1, subbing for an injured Mika Häkkinen at McLaren for one race. No points, but he was 22, barely old enough to rent a car. Everyone figured he'd get his shot soon. Fast forward to 1997, and he lands a full-time gig with Stewart Grand Prix, a brand new team trying to make waves. Sounds dope, right? Wrong. That Stewart car was a certified disaster. Engines blowing up, tires giving out, parts falling off mid-race. Jan was out there fighting a losing battle, scraping through 24 races, and managing just a single point at Canada. One lonely point. His teammate, Rubens Barrichello, at least showed some fight, squeezing out a few results. But Jan, he was getting smoked, trailing Rubens by an average of 0.7 seconds in qualifying. It wasn't just the car, though. Jan's mental game started cracking under the pressure. By 1998, Stewart had seen enough and kicked him to the curb. McLaren, who'd banked on him being their golden boy, turned their backs too. He bounced around lower formulas, American Le Mans, Danish touring cars. But the F1 dream? In his 25 F1 races, he scored just one measly point with no podiums or glory. The guy who was supposed to be Senna 2.0 ended up a footnote. Stoffel Vandoorne. This guy was Belgium's big hope for F1 domination. He was a machine in the junior leagues. Picture him in 2015, absolutely owning GP2. 7 wins, a ridiculous 160-point lead over second place. The dude was untouchable, a walking highlight reel. McLaren, desperate for a new star, gave him a one-off shot in 2016, subbing in Bahrain. And guess what? He scored a point on debut, outrunning half the field. The hype train was screaming. Stoffel was going to be a legend. So why'd this dream get smashed to pieces? In 2017, Vandoorne snagged a full-time McLaren seat alongside Fernando Alonso, a 2-time world champ with a killer instinct. Sounds like a dream gig, right? Nope. McLaren's Honda engine was a complete dumpster fire, underpowered, breaking down every other race, a mechanic's worst nightmare. Stoffel fought hard, but only scraped 13 points in 20 races. Alonso, in the same garbage car, managed 17 points, showing that extra bit of magic. Qualifying? Oh man, it was ugly. Alonso crushed him, 16-3. That's not a rivalry, that's a beatdown. You could see the confidence draining from Stoffel. Every DNF, every engine failure, it chipped away at him. 2018 rolled around, and McLaren ditched Honda for Renault engines. But the damage was done. Stoffel's head wasn't in it. He managed just 12 points that year, got out-qualified by Alonso 21-0. Yeah, 0 wins in qualifying. McLaren said, "We're good," and showed him the door. Was it the car's fault? Partly. McLaren was a mess back then. But was it also the pressure of racing against a legend like Alonso? Or maybe a team environment that felt like a pressure cooker? Fans still argue about it. In 42 races, Stoffel never saw a podium, with a best finish of 7th and just 26 points overall. Here's the kicker. He bounced back in Formula E, winning a world championship in 2022. The guy's got talent. But F1? It was like he stepped into a ring with a heavyweight and got knocked out cold. A prodigy who got wrecked before he could even get started. Pastor Maldonado. This guy was a force in the juniors, storming through GP2 and winning the 2010 title with 6 straight victories. Williams saw dollar signs and signed him in 2011, backed by big Venezuelan oil money. Then, in 2012, he blew minds by winning the Spanish Grand Prix, Williams' first W in 8 years. The guy had the pace to be a superstar, so why is he on this list of flops? Maldonado was fast, stupid fast, but he drove like he was playing a video game with no consequences. In 95 races, he crashed so much it became a running joke. Picture this. 2012, the year of his big win. He also racked up a laundry list of penalties, collisions, spins, reckless moves, you name it. The dude was a one-man wrecking crew. Qualifying? He could hang, often matching or beating teammates. Race days? Pure chaos. Cars flying, tires shredded, stewards shaking their heads. By 2015, his oil money dried up, and Lotus, his team at the time, said, "Nah, we're good. Let's break it down." That 2012 win showed he had raw, undeniable talent. Nobody flukes a Grand Prix, but Pastor couldn't stop self-destructing. He'd be flying one lap, then eating gravel the next. Fans loved the madness. Twitter was wild with Crashter memes. But teams, they need drivers who finish races, not start fires. Some say he got a raw deal with midfield cars. Others say he was his own worst enemy. In those 95 races, he grabbed just one win and 76 points. Not awful, but nowhere near his potential. Here's the deal. Pastor was a prodigy with lightning in his veins, but no brakes on his ego. He could have been a champ, but he burned his own legacy to the ground. Lance Stroll. This kid was a beast in the juniors, crushing Italian F4 at just 15 and running away with the European F3 title in 2016. 14 wins in 30 races. Ferrari's driver academy had him pegged as a future star, but when his billionaire dad, Lawrence Stroll, bought him a Williams F1 seat in 2017, the haters came out swinging, slapping him with the pay driver label. So, did he shut them up? At 18, Stroll became one of F1's youngest drivers. He shocked the world in 2017's chaotic Azerbaijan Grand Prix, snagging third place, a podium in his rookie year. That's huge, right? Well, hold up. The rest of his season was a roller coaster of pain. He scored 40 points, but his teammate, Felipe Massa, a wily veteran, edged him out 43-40 and smoked him in qualifying, 17-3. The narrative was brutal. Lance is only here because daddy paid for it. Ouch. Fast forward to 2025, and Stroll's still racing. Now for Aston Martin. Yep, you guessed it. Dad owns that team too. He's had moments that make you sit up, like that insane pole position in the Wet at Turkey 2020, showing he's got serious skill. But consistency, that's his kryptonite. In 150 races, he's got just 3 podiums and 250 points. Not terrible, but not Prodigy level either. Critics scream he's coasting on his dad's billions, while fans argue he's been stuck with midfield cars that limit his shine. The truth? Probably somewhere in the middle. Let's talk real for a sec. Lance was thrown into F1 young, with a target on his back. The money talk never stopped, and yeah, it's helped keep him in seats. But 3 podiums in 150 races for a guy with his junior record? That's not what anyone expected. He's still out there fighting, but the Prodigy hype? It's faded like a bad paint job. Nick de Vries, this guy, was a walking trophy case. Formula 2 champion in 2019 with 4 wins, beating guys like Nicholas Latifi and Jack Aitken. Then, in 2021, he snags the Formula E World Championship with Mercedes, dominating the Electric Series with 2 wins and a cool-headed vibe. But the real jaw-dropper? 2022 Monza, when Williams throws him in last minute to replace Alex Albon. Picture this: a debut driver, no prep, and Nike storms to 9th, scoring 2 points and outrunning half the grid. The paddock's going nuts. This guy's the future. AlphaTauri, Red Bull's sister team, signs him for a full-time seat in 2023, and fans are losing it. A proven champ, ready to take over. So, how'd this dream get obliterated in just 10 races? Let's set the stage. Nick rolls into 2023 with the weight of the world on him. At 28, he's no rookie. He's got titles, experience, and a resume that screams, "I'm ready." But AlphaTauri's AT04 car, it's a midfield slog, struggling to keep up with Red Bull, Ferrari, or even McLaren. Nike's first race, Bahrain 2023, is a rough start. He's off the pace, tangled in midfield chaos, and finishes way down the order. Azerbaijan's worse. He bins it into the wall on his own, and the stewards slap him with a penalty. Fans are starting to whisper, is this guy for real? By Miami, he's still pointless, finishing 18th while teammate Yuki Tsunoda sneaks into 10th for a point. The gap's glaring. Tsunoda's younger, less decorated, but he's out-qualifying Nick 9-1 and grabbing points in Australia 4, Miami 1, and Monaco 2. Nike's stuck at 0, spinning out or limping home at the back. You can see the pressure eating him alive. Every race, he's fighting not just the car, but the expectations. His own, Red Bull's, the fans. By Silverstone, his confidence is shot. Post-race interviews show a guy trying to stay positive, but his eyes tell a different story. Doubt, frustration, maybe even fear. AlphaTauri's under fire from Red Bull to deliver, and Nike's not it. After 10 races, they drop the hammer. He's out, replaced by Daniel Ricciardo, the fan-favorite Aussie, with 8 F1 wins. 10 races, 0 points, and Nick's F1 career is toast. But let's unpack this. What went wrong? Some fans point to the car, saying AlphaTauri's machine was a dog, barely able to crack the top 10. Tsunoda's results were scrappy, not dominant, so maybe Nike got a raw deal. Others aren't buying it. Tsunoda was making it work, finding points where Nick couldn't. Then there's the mental game. Formula E's intense, but it's 45-minute sprints, not F1's grueling 20-race slog. Nike came from a series where he could dominate with strategy and consistency, but F1's a different beast. Raw speed, split-second decisions, and a teammate out to bear you. At 28, he didn't have the time a 20-year-old rookie gets to adapt. Red Bull's cutthroat culture didn't help. They're known for chewing up drivers who don't deliver instantly. In those 10 races, Nick scored just 2 points from his Williams debut, with 0 in 2023 and no podiums, plus a 9-1 qualifying beatdown by Tsunoda. Brutal. Fans still argue. Was he overhyped, or did AlphaTauri set him up to fail? The guy's no fluke. He's back in Formula E, winning races and looking like a champ again. But F1? A dream crushed in a heartbeat. Jaime Alguersuari, the Spanish firecracker who made history as F1's youngest ever driver at 19 years and 125 days in 2009. This kid was a big deal, crushing Formula Renault 2.0 in 2008 with 4 wins, snagging podiums in British F3, and backed by Red Bull's hype machine, who saw him as Spain's next Fernando Alonso. The energy around him was electric. Teenage prodigy, fearless vibe, ready to conquer the world. Picture him stepping into the paddock, all swagger, with Red Bull's logo on his chest, and dreams of greatness. So how'd this superstar end up spinning tracks as a DJ instead of tires in F1? Let's rewind to 2009. Red Bull's junior team, Toro Rosso, needs a new driver mid-season after Sebastian Bourdais flops. They throw Jaime in at the Hungarian Grand Prix. 19 years old, barely out of high school, no testing time, just raw talent. The Toro Rosso car's a midfield struggle bus, nowhere near Red Bull's front-running machines. Jaime's out there learning on the fly, wrestling a car that's tough to tame. Jaime's first race? Qualifies 20th, finishes 15th. Not bad for a debut, but the points are 0. Over 8 races in 09, no points, qualifying near the back, 17th, 18th, 19th. Harsh for a kid, right? Give him time. 2010 rolls around, a full season, and it's a grind. 19 races, just 5 points, with a best finish of 9th in Malaysia and Singapore. His teammate Sebastian Buemi isn't lighting up the scoreboard either, but he's out qualifying Jaime 12-7 and looking smoother. You can see Jaime's confidence taking hits. Post-race, he's trying to stay upbeat, but the pressure's building, and the media's starting to ask, is this kid really the next Alonso? 2011's his big chance to prove the doubters wrong. Jaime steps up, no question. 26 points, a best of 7th in Italy and Korea, showing flashes of that junior series magic. He's battling in the midfield, holding off guys like Sergio Perez and Kamui Kobayashi, making moves that get fans buzzing. But Buemi's still got his number, out-qualifying him 13-6 and matching his points haul. Toro Rosso's car isn't a podium contender, but Jaime's not squeezing out every ounce like Buemi does. Red Bull's driver program is a straight-up meat grinder. They don't care about potential. They want results yesterday. At the end of 2011, Red Bull drops the bomb. Jaime's out, replaced by Daniel Ricciardo and Jean-Éric Vergne, 2 new hotshots with hunger in their eyes. Jaime's 21st, with 46 races under his belt, but no podiums, no wins, just 31 points overall. The F1 dream's over before he's old enough to drink in some countries. So, what went wrong? Let's break it down. Toro Rosso's car was a midfield mess, never a podium threat in Jaime's era, with a best team finish of 7th. Buemi was making it work, finding that extra 10th or 2 in qualifying, while Jaime couldn't consistently match him. Red Bull's program is brutal. Perform or get cut. No excuses. Jaime was thrown into F1 too young, some say, with barely any prep time before his debut. Imagine being 19, hyped as the next big thing, and every mistake's blasted across the media. The mental toll was real. He'd shine one lap, then fade the next, like he couldn't find his rhythm. After F1, he tried other series, like Formula E. HRT, but never with the same spark. Now, he's DJ Squire, rocking clubs, making beats, a far cry from the F1 grid. Shamey was a teen prodigy who got chewed up and spit out by F1's ruthless game. Bruno Senna, the guy carrying the heaviest name in motorsport, nephew of the legendary Ayrton Senna. The hype around Bruno was insane. He wasn't just some random talent. He had the pedigree, the bloodline, the yellow helmet that made fans dream of glory days. In the juniors, he was legit. Runner-up in British F3 in 2006 with 6 wins. Third in GP2 in 2008 with 2 victories, beating guys like Romain Grosjean and Lucas de Grassi. When he signed with HRT for his F1 debut in 2010, fans were losing it. A Senna back in F1, the return of a legend's legacy. So why'd this dream get stuck in the mud? HRT in 2010 was the worst possible start. Their car was a complete joke. Underfunded, underpowered, a rolling disaster that could barely finish a race. Picture Bruno out there, wrestling a machine that's seconds off the pace, often qualifying dead last, 20th or worse. In 18 races, he scores 0 points, with a best finish of 15th in Malaysia. The team's a mess, mechanics scrambling, budget stretched thinner than a shoestring. Bruno's in survival mode, just trying to get to the checkered flag without the car falling apart. You can see the frustration in his eyes. Every camera's on him, every headline's comparing him to Ayrton, expecting miracles from a car that's basically a go-kart with F1 stickers. Fans wanted magic, but HRT was no place for magic. In 2011, Bruno gets a lifeline with Lotus Renault, subbing for Nick Heidfeld mid-season. 8 races, 2 points, a 10th place finish in Italy. Not bad for a midfield team. He's holding his own against teammate Vitaly Petrov, even out-qualifying him a couple of times. It's a glimmer of hope, but not enough for a full-time seat. Then, 2012 rolls around, and Williams comes calling. A proper team with a car that can actually score points. This is Bruno's big shot. He delivers, racking up 31 points, including a 6th place finish in the rain-soaked Malaysian Grand Prix, where he battles through chaos, overtaking guys like Mark Webber and holding off pressure to shine. That race was peak Bruno. Calm, precise, showing the Senna spark. But here's the kicker. His teammate, Pastor Maldonado, steals the spotlight with a shock win in Spain. Williams' first victory in years. Maldonado outscoring Bruno overall, 45 points to 31. And that one win makes Maldonado the golden boy. In qualifying, Maldonado's got the edge, beating Bruno 13-7. At the end of 2012, Williams makes a call. They keep Maldonado, banking on his raw speed, and drop Bruno for Valtteri Bottas, a new hotshot with big potential. Bruno's out after 46 races, no podiums, just 33 points overall. Why'd it fall apart? The Senna name was a double-edged sword. Every move he made was compared to Ayrton, an impossible standard. HRT's junk car killed his momentum from the jump, setting him back years. At Williams, he was good. Malaysia proved he could hang. But good isn't enough in F1. You need to be exceptional. Race in, race out. Bruno showed flashes like that Malaysia drive, but he couldn't string together the consistency to stick. Some fans say he got a raw deal, stuck with HRT's trash heap early on. Others argue he didn't have Ayrton's killer instinct, that edge that separates legends from the pack. After F1, Bruno found his groove in endurance racing, winning races in the World Endurance Championship, even taking a podium at Le Mans. The guy's got talent, no question. He's proven it outside F1. But the F1 grid? It's a brutal world, and the Senna name was a weight too heavy to carry. A prodigy with all the hype, but not the results to match the legacy. Kevin Koryas, Estonia's golden boy who had the F1 world buzzing like crazy. This dude was a straight-up prodigy in 2010, dominating Formula Renault 2.0 Euro Cup with 4 wins and a championship, beating future F1 drivers like Daniil Kvyat and Carlos Sainz Jr. Picture him at 17, tearing up tracks, full of momentum, fearless, with a smile that screamed confidence. At just 18, he gets a test with Lotus F1 in 2011, ripping through laps in Abu Dhabi and earning a reserve driver role. The paddock's whispering, this kid's got the speed, the swagger, the whole package. Scouts are calling him Estonia's first F1 hope, a guy who could put a small nation on the map. So why'd he never even get a single F1 race? Let's rewind. grind. Corjus is riding high off that Renault title, momentum through the roof. In 2011, he steps up to Formula Renault 3.5, a big feeder series for F1, where guys like Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo cut their teeth. He's fast, wins a race in Monaco, one of the toughest tracks out there, and finishes 6th overall, beating drivers who'd later hit F1. Lotus loves what they see, giving him more test time, letting him run laps in their F1 car. He's posting times that raise eyebrows, not far off their main drivers. But Lotus sticks with Vitaly Petrov and Bruno Senna for their race seats, leaving Corjus on the sidelines. No big deal. He's young, 18, 19. Plenty of time to climb, right? He keeps grinding, testing with Lotus again in 2012, showing he can hang with the big boys. But here's where it gets messy. Lotus is bleeding cash, sponsors bailing, budgets shrinking, rumors swirling about unpaid bills. Their driver program's a mess, and Corjus needs to keep proving himself in the juniors. In 2013, he jumps to GP3, another F1 feeder series, racing with teams like ART Grand Prix. He wins at the Nürburgring, a track that's brutal on drivers, and grabs a few podiums, but finishes 7th overall. The problem? He's getting out-qualified by less hyped teammates like Connor Daly and Facu Regalia, who are stealing the spotlight. The results aren't screaming F1 material, and Lotus is too broke to take a chance on a reserve driver. By 2014, the F1 dream's slipping away fast. Lotus is in full crisis mode, barely keeping their cars on the grid, let alone promoting new talent. Corjus doesn't have the big money sponsors some drivers lean on. Think Pastor Maldonado's Venezuelan oil cash or Lance Stroll's billionaire dad. F1's a brutal game, and without a fat check or a perfect season, you're stuck. He's still out there racing, grinding away in GTs. But F1? It's a missed opportunity that stings for fans who saw his potential. A prodigy who lit up the juniors but never got to shine on the big stage. Pascal Wehrlein, 20 years old, youngest DTM champ ever in 2015. Mercedes golden boy ready to take F1 by storm. He lands at Manor in 2016, a car so slow it's basically a tractor, yet he drags it to 10th in Austria for a point. Sauber in 2017, 5 more points, out-qualifying Marcus Ericsson 11-9. The kid's got talent. Everyone's saying he's Mercedes' next star. So how'd he vanish from F1 in 2 years? Mercedes picks Esteban Ocon and later George Russell over him, citing personality and team fit. Toto Wolff's words, not mine. A race of champions. Crash in 17 leaves him with back pain, missing tests, hurting his case. By the end of 17, Sauber drops him for Charles Leclerc, and he's out at 23. Fans argue he got screwed by politics and a weak car. Others say he didn't seize the moment. Wehrlein's now killing it in Formula E, but F1? A dream that slipped through his fingers. Let's break it down. Wehrlein's DTM title was no joke. He beat guys like Robert Wickens and Gary Paffett, showing precision and speed. Manor 16? That car was last in the constructors. But Wehrlein's point in Austria was the team's only score all year. At Sauber, he's consistent. 8th in Spain, 17 for 4 points, with another 10th place finish later in the year. But that back injury from his off-season crash lingered, affecting his fitness. Mercedes, who backed him, had a tough call. Ocon's French connections and Russell's junior dominance edged him out. Wolff admitted it wasn't speed. It was how Wehrlein meshed with teams. That intangible fit. By 2018, he's a reserve for Mercedes, but no race seat opens up. He tests for Ferrari, but nothing sticks. The mental side, Wehrlein was outspoken, sometimes clashing with engineers, which didn't help in F1's political jungle. Fans point to his Sauber days. He outscored Ericsson 6-0 in points, but Ericsson's sponsors kept him in. Wehrlein had the raw pace. But F1's not just about driving, it's about playing the game. Now in Formula E, he's won titles with Porsche, proving the talent's there. But F1, it's like he was the right guy at the wrong time. In 39 races, he scored 6 points with a best finish of 8th and no podiums. A prodigy who got lost in the shuffle. Nelson Piquet Jr., son of a 3-time champ, steps into F1 with Renault in 2008, hyped as Brazil's next big thing. GP2 runner-up in 2006, 2 wins, and Alonso's teammate at 22. Talk about pressure. He's got the name, the speed, even a podium in Germany 08. So why is he remembered as a villain? Singapore 2008, Crashgate. Piquet Jr. deliberately smashes into the wall to bring out a safety car, handing Alonso the win. When the scandal breaks in 2009, he's sacked, blacklisted, and done in F1. 28 races, 19 points, 1 podium. But that crash overshadows it all. Before Crashgate, he was struggling. Alonso outqualified him 16-2 in '08. Was it Renault's pressure, a weak mental game, or just a kid in over his head? Piquet Jr. had the talent, but one decision torched his career. Let's unpack this mess. Piquet Jr.'s junior days were solid. British F3 champion in 2004, GP2 vice champion to Lewis Hamilton in 2006, beating him in some races. Renault signs him as Alonso's wingman, but it's ugly from the start. He's outscored 90-19 by Alonso, crashes in half his races, and looks lost. Then Singapore. Team boss Flavio Briatore tells him to crash on lap 14. Piquet Jr. does it. Safety car deploys. Alonso wins. A year later, after getting sacked, Piquet Jr. blows the whistle, claiming he was pressured. The FIA bans Briatore for life, later overturned, but Piquet Jr.'s rep is nuked, labeled a cheater. No team touches him. The fallout? He races in NASCAR, wins in trucks, but F1's doors are shut. Fans debate. Was he a victim of Renault's dirty tricks, or did he lack the spine to say no? His Germany podium, second place, showed flashes, but the qualifying beatdown by Alonso screamed inexperience. Piquet Jr. had the pedigree, but Crashgate was the nail in the coffin. Now he's in Formula E, winning races. But F1, a scandal that defined a career. In 28 races, he grabbed 1 podium and 19 points with no wins. A prodigy derailed by one fateful lap. From prodigy to pariah, talk about a fall from grace.